But guess what? At the end of the day, we're like, I get tired of like when it's time to organize my own house, like right now, my mudroom closet, it doesn't look great. And I walk past it and I'm like, ugh, just the thought of spending the time on it is not enjoyable to me because it feels like then I'm at work, you know?
Correct. Yeah, because there are enough things going on that it's nice to have a place that we can come home to and feel at peace and at rest. And this is what we're creating for other people, right? But it's so important to have it for us too. Asking for help when life is kicking your butt, I think it's so needed.
Hey, pro organizers, it's Melissa, and I am back with my friend Missy, who runs a wildly successful organizing business. And she's talking about some of the best self care that you could ever do as an entrepreneur. And I'm going to let her tell you what she did, but I hope that you are able to take something from this. I know I have been trying to practice more of this, asking for help, asking for people to assist me, and being vulnerable and being open to help is really a great thing. And I think sometimes entrepreneurs are not great at that. Missy has so much wisdom for you, and I hope that this helps you. Have a great day, organizers. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. My friend Missy is back on the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, or I think this might be our first video podcast because they have those now. So congratulations. I think if I get my act together, you're going to be our first video podcast. But you can see Missy has a great sweatshirt on and it also blends in with her couch. So this sweatshirt, if you can see it, it's Lake Superior, which is important to those of us who live in Minnesota. And it's like birds flying away and it's so cute. You look so cute and you're on your pink couch and you're in your new house, which is something we're going to be talking about today. I'm so happy to have you back.
Thank you so much for having me here. If you are watching this on video, it does this weird auto zoom thing that I don't know how to turn
It
off.
does.
So every once in a
Mine
while
does
I'm
that
far
too.
away and yeah,
I know.
anyway.
And every once in a while it'll be like extreme close up. And you're like, okay, I don't think anyone needs to see my face that closely. So,
We'll roll with it.
you've been on the podcast several times, but you have recently had a unique experience that I wanted to talk to you about. But before we get to that, I do want to just do a quick, like 5-second recap. You are the owner of Clear Spaces Organizing here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota. And this is important to the story. You are a crazy good businesswoman. Your business was en fuego last year. I know details that other people don't know, and just say Missy is a badass queen. That's what I want to say. So, but it's important to the story because you're running this extremely sizable business. How many people do you have in your team now?
Right now we're at 12.
12 people. So you have a 12-person team plus yourself. You have an absolutely amazing business, and so many people are coming in, and so many people need help. In that, it's very easy, as we all know, because it's happened to me. And on the podcast I did last week, I was very upfront about a client disaster that invaded my home. And so we know that our businesses can interfere with our lives, not interfere, but become
Take
a
over?
big part of our lives. Yeah, take over.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm giving that background is because I think it's really instructional to what we're here to talk about today. And it's that you hired your own team for your own house and your own move.
I sure did. And when we first talked about this, you were like, oh my gosh, we should talk about that on the podcast. And since then, I have done it 3 more times
Ah,
because
yeah.
it was so helpful.
Yeah.
It's so
And,
helpful.
and I wanted to talk to you about this for several reasons. But one of the reasons is it actually ties a little bit to the podcast I had last week. If you haven't listened to it, I had a client that kind of, we messed with some boundaries and I had a bunch of her stuff in my house and I needed to get it done. And the funny part was that I was transitioning that business to a new set of organizers. And they even casually mentioned, like, hey, if you'd like us to help you with this garage situation, we'd be happy to. And honestly, I was insulted because I'm like, I do this for a living. I'm actually pretty good at it. So I like kind of took offense to it a little bit, but you were just like fully embracing of it. I'm hiring my team. I know that I need help with this. And I think that is a really lovely thing to be that vulnerable and be like, I also need help. And the way that I always phrase it is therapists have therapists, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I have a friend who's a therapist who is in a group with other therapists, and they all talk about the things they're going through. And so I actually think it's really beautiful that you were vulnerable enough to say, hey, I need help. So
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's very kind. It didn't feel like a vulnerability thing at the moment. It felt like I was drowning.
it was a crisis thing. Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, SOS, who can save my
Right.
ship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so tell us a little bit about kind of what evolved. So you were getting ready to move and
Yes.
it was just crunch time, as we
It
all have
was.
experienced.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anyone unless they've hired you as their organizer, maybe who's happened to have an organized move, but there's always that moment at the end where you're just throwing everything in a box
Yeah.
and you're just like, tape it up, I'll figure it out later. And I didn't want to do that. That
Yeah.
sounded stressful and like worse on the back end of unpacking it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just worked out that the team had some availability, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna take it." And so I just threw my name on the
You took
project.
your own team's time, and I
I
love that.
did. I mean, I did ask. I said, "Would it be weird if you came to help me pack, or would you be up for that?" And they were like, "Oh my gosh, we're totally up for it." So I had 2 team members come over to help me pack up, and I said, "If you can just do the office, that would be amazing."
Yeah.
What I didn't realize is how much stuff I had crammed in the office, and so on the day that they're coming over, I started to feel all the same things that our clients feel and that they talk about, and I was like I was super embarrassed. I was like, "Oh my gosh, they're gonna be opening up my closet." Anybody who's watched Friends, you know, like, the Monica closet, right? And,
Yeah.
like, half of it was organized, and half of it was everything I owned, is what it felt like.
Yeah.
And they were gonna be going through extremely personal stuff, personal business stuff, like, just all of it. I didn't have the bandwidth to go through anything and do a cursory, "Let me make sure this is tucked away." I was just like, "It all needs to get packed." And the team is very good at what they do, and so at the end of day 1, they said, "We pulled aside some papers that look personal, and we'd like you to go through them so you can just decide, you know, what to keep or what to let go of." And I said, "Oh my gosh, that was so thoughtful of you. I'm not going to do that."
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
just
I'm
no.
I'm also just sounding like our clients who are at their
Yeah.
absolute wit's end to be like, "Just throw it in a box." And I'm like, "You can label it however you found it. Top of desk, fantastic. Put it in a box labeled top of desk." Like, I will have everything that I know is important right now, but that's probably second important, so probably good to give that, you know, some sort of headline that I know what it is. But yeah, they were incredible. It was unique to be on the client side of it, even though we're working with clients all the time, and so we're hearing them say things like, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed," or "I don't want you to see this," or "I can't believe that I didn't figure this out." And also there was this relief of, "Oh my gosh, it's finally getting done, and I'm watching it get done. I'm watching the back boxes get packed up, and I'm watching them move out into the landing." And I, of course, am using the team as body doubling, so while they're in there, I'm in the closet, you know?
I wanna go to the word embarrassed because I know
Yeah.
that, we all know that our clients deal with a lot of shame, embarrassment, all those emotions, and it's an incredibly important part of what we do. Was that the weirdest part for you? Like, knowing that people were knowing that we're non-judgmental when we go into a house, but, like, knowing that you have a personal connection with these people, did you worry that it would be, like, a little different? Was that kind of that feeling or
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think so, because, like, I'm at the helm of this organizing business,
Yes,
right?
correct.
And I have never talked in such a way that would give anybody that works for me or a client that we have worked for the impression that I have all of my poop in a group, as my
Yes.
sister-in-law likes to say in front
Mhm.
of her child. And yet, it felt yeah, I think there's some shoulds or some guilt or some shame there around, "This is what you do for a living, Missy. Perhaps you could do this for yourself." And this is where it's no different from working with a client. Could our clients organize their own spaces? Most of them, probably, if they had enough time and if they had some good guidance and resources of what to buy or what to put in for products or to create a system. Like, it's not brain surgery, and yet it's so normal to need help that we as business owners are not immune.
Yeah, yeah. And we all reach a point at which, there is something that we have there's something time bound about it. And we go, oh gosh, we've run out of time because we're
I'm
doing all these other things.
Yeah.
And also, none of these things that you're talking about are easy to do alone. It's not easy to pack by yourself. It's not easy to pack up a house and move by yourself. It is not easy to go, oh gosh, especially when you're in a time crunch. Oh, I really shouldn't just take all these papers with me. I really should go through them and decide what stays and what goes. And then it becomes this overwhelming feeling. We all know the overwhelming feeling. And I think when it's your own stuff, sometimes you don't have perspective on it at all.
Totally. Yeah. No, it's so accurate. And I ended up actually hiring the team to help me on the back end of unpacking at the new place as well. And then once I got settled even more, I was like, there's still a pile of paperwork I've been avoiding.
Mhm.
And so I had another person come over from the team and help me just go through the paperwork. And that was, oh my gosh, that was liberating. It was
Yeah.
liberating. So much left the house, so much got shredded. She's, "Do you want me to just shred this right now?" I was like, "That'd be amazing."
Do it.
Like,
Yes, that sounds
yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you shred while I keep going through the next round of stuff. I mean, and there was old stuff. I mean, really cool to see how far we'd come, but I was just like, "Ooh, don't need this anymore," you know?
Yeah.
So but I couldn't make those decisions on the day of, "It's packing day. Would you like to go through this?" That's the last thing I
Absolutely
would
no.
yeah. No,
No.
thank you. Yeah.
This is just something that I wonder, what were there any times did you ask the team if they felt pressure working with you or for you? Do you know what I mean?
Great question. I did not ask them that. I can go back and ask.
I just would be curious if they felt like, "Oh, we have to be, like, extra buttoned up," or if they were just normal as they would be with a client
Oh,
or
no, they had their music going, they were
okay.
singing. I mean, they were themselves, like, we were having a good time. There was also times where I had to we call it holding court, when a client just has to have everybody's attention while they process something.
Yep.
And I totally had that where I was like, "Oh my gosh, do I wanna keep this? I don't know." And, like, in our world, if it's an I don't know, it's a yes, we're keeping it. There's no pressure here. We're not winning any awards for how much somebody lets go of. We just err on the side of keep it and decide later.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of that, but I found myself having to verbalize it to see what do I think about this? And our clients do that too. And so it was funny to be like, "Oh, I'm doing that thing." But also I am a verbal processor, so it's not surprising. But yeah, there were just different moments through the day where I was clocking like, "Oh my gosh, I am our ideal client."
I'm doing the things that we talk about with clients all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're attracting more and more people that think that same way and process the same way. So, yeah, it was just fun to see little glimmers of, "Oh, that's familiar, but now I'm the one doing it."
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So, what were some of the things that surprised you or maybe you weren't prepared for?
I I have an incredible team, and they did a great job at what we call managing the clients.
Okay. In this case, it was just
Yeah.
an interesting client to manage.
Yeah, yeah, and I laughed out loud when they said what is very normal for them to say during an organizing project if the client has either bitten off more than the team can chew,
Yeah.
that may have happened, or circumstances change throughout the day, and you just need to have a conversation to let people know. And so, Sweet Grace, my God, I love her. She says, "Okay, so it's 2 o'clock, and I just want to let you know where we're at." And they were coming back another day, but for no, they weren't. This was day 2. And she goes, we can either finish packing all the boxes in your office and get the office completed, or we can carry all these boxes down to the garage. Which would you prefer?"
Mhm.
And I was like, "Ugh." In my head, I was like, "Both."
I
Like,
want both
I
things.
want both things to happen, please."
Right.
But like she was right. There was not enough time in the day for both things to happen. And I was just like, "Oh, girl, now I know what it feels like to be the client when we say that because you do want both. You want it all. Even though you have procrastinated, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right word. You have had weeks and months for this space or years to become what it
Years.
is,
Yeah.
right? And it cannot all be done in a day just due to the volume. That's just physics, right?
Sure.
And yet we're like, well, let's just get it done. Like,
Yeah.
let a client is like, just make it happen as fast
Yeah.
as you possibly can.
This the other day, you and I were talking about the movie When Harry Met Sally, and we were talking about that line, like when you decide, the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, and you want the rest of your life to start now.
Yeah.
Organizing is the same thing. Like when you decide you want to get organized, you're ready to get organized fully right then. Like you want it to just be done
As soon as possible.
as soon as humanly possible. And to hear, oh, we're probably going to have to wait till another day or another week, you
Yeah.
don't want that.
Correct. Yep. Yep. So I heard her and said, okay, just finish the office. That would feel amazing to know that the office is done. And then this is what I've seen our clients do too. I was like, well, I do want both things. And so I shifted away from what I was working on, and I was now the box mover. And I carried
Yeah.
every single box down to the basement, stacked it up, and categorized it. And they did a phenomenal job labeling. It was so clear where
Yeah.
everything was coming from and where it was going. And it was just they were working so hard in the office that when they came out and all the boxes were gone, they said, "Where did they go?" I said, "I brought them down." And they were like, "Gosh, I did the thing." So, it's a good reminder too that if anyone is motivated enough, they will jump in to get to
Yeah.
the result that they want completed if they're able to. Yeah.
What do you think would have happened if you didn't hire them? What do you think? Would you have just said, "Forget it, I don't," like, what would have happened?
I think I would have cried a lot more. I
Yeah.
mean, I would have been so overwhelmed. There gets a point when there's so much to do that you just kind of go into, I don't even want to say a meditative state because that sounds too relaxing. It's like a freeze state
Mhm.
where you're like, I can't do anything. And so what hiring the team did was bring in well, one, the non-attachment to the stuff, which is huge, right? The woman power to just get things done and the fun. They're playing their music, we're singing along. There were moments of overlap in what we're doing or talking through different things that they're coming across. But yeah, it made it more fun and it made it done. And I
Yeah.
think that was what was most important to me is I was like, this just needs to get finished. And I don't I mean, I still wasn't gonna do it alone anyway. I would have probably had to call in friends, but my friends work full time, and then
Yeah.
I'd be having to cram this in during, like, dinner hours, and to have the team was just a gift, truly. It was a gift, and when I was able to reflect on it later, I was like, "That's what this was." And I know that some of our clients, some clients are not super expressive, and they just look around and they're like, "Okay." Like, they don't even say thank you, they're just like, "Okay." That's what they're
My
expecting, right?
least favorite thing as someone who just dies for the validation when they're just like, "Yeah, okay." And I'm like, "No, I need you to be much more effusive than this.
Please jump up and down. Yeah.
Really need a lot more validation than you're giving me right now."
Yeah. Yes. And then you have those clients who are like, they are jumping up and down and they're like, "This is amazing. What you do is just like magical." And you're getting all of that. And I felt that. I was like, "Oh my gosh." And so I use this example to open up our next time together with as a team just to say like the work that you do is incredibly life-changing. And I know I say that to you all the time, but now I'm saying it to you because it made my life easier and
Yeah.
shared this story that I just shared with you of how they did it and what they were so good at and what was so helpful and how they did just treat me like any other client. Like they weren't like tiptoeing around. Yeah. No, it was such a gift. And then yeah, then they came here and helped unpack and put things away and I had double booked myself and wasn't even here. So they were like,
That's even better, because you really got the full, like, fairy godmother treatment of you probably came home and it was, like, great. It went from nothing to great.
I did. The hilarious part is that my mom felt like she needed to project manage, so she showed up, and I mean, she did take some great pictures of the team doing their thing, so that was fun, but it was very cute that yeah, like, she just wanted to make sure that they were doing what they're supposed to do. I was like, "They got a list, like, they're fine."
Yeah, they're good. They do
Yeah,
this for a living, but
yeah.
they're just fine,
And they
so
probably can do it a lot faster without me being like, "Hey, you wanna hear a random
yeah.
story?"
Right. They're like, "By the way, we got everything unpacked in about 2 hours because you weren't here."
All done. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it was wonderful, and like I said, it continued to be so helpful that, like, when I would get to a place where I was stuck in the basement, like, I literally had a team member come over and just together we were, like, cutting and flattening cardboard because there's so much cardboard when you move. So, yeah, it's just a gift to be able to have an extra set of hands to help you find your way,
Yeah.
to help you achieve the things that you've already done in your head, like, a million times. "Oh, I know what the space is gonna look like when it's done," and this is our clients. Like, they're reaching out to you, but not because they just had an idea about getting organized. They've been thinking about it for quite a long time, and they
Right.
probably have an idea of what it looks like when it's finished, and we're just helping them get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this is my plug for hire your team, man, if you have a team.
I think it's really smart or hire other people. By the way, you can
Yeah.
also hire some if you are a solo organizer, hire someone else. Missy's team has I've had several of Missy's team members come on jobs with me if I ever needed them. I know I've got your team. We have our couple of other friends that I know I would happily have them in my house at any time. But I just think getting over that feeling of like I talked about at the beginning, like I was kind of offended that these other organizers are like, "Oh, we'll help you with your garage if you want." And I'm like, "No, I got it. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me." But guess what? At the end of the day, we're like I get tired of like when it's time to organize my own house, like right now, my mudroom closet, it doesn't look great. And I walk past it and I'm like, ugh, just the thought of spending the time on it is not enjoyable to me because it feels like then I'm at work, you know?
Correct. Yeah. It's like all the carpenters who have unfinished projects of their own
Correct.
house, right? Right?
Yes.
And this is how I can always tell when I'm in a good mood, when I've had enough sleep, when I'm okay. When I organize something, I'm like, "Oh, look at
Yeah.
me. Check me out," you know? Because I think there are enough things going on in gestures around the world that it's nice to have a place that we can come home to and feel at peace and at rest, and this is what we're creating for other people, right? But it's so important to have it for us too. I recently went on we're calling it a retreat because that's what the place called it, but with my best friend, and I called her like 3 or 4 days afterwards, and I was like, "You know how they say you can't pour from an empty cup?" I'm like, "I
Yeah.
think I was for, like,
Yeah.
potentially years." And
Sure.
this is the most filled up I've ever been. Like, my capacity has returned in a way that I'm like, "Oh, wow."
Yeah.
It was barely hanging on there for a while.
Yeah.
And part of that was what you were referencing. Yeah, last year was bananas, and there were parts that were fun and there were parts that were really hard. So, yeah, asking for help when life is kicking your butt, I think is it's so needed, and
Mm.
we do this in other areas of our life, like, we'll pay someone to cut our hair, or color our hair,
Mhm.
or do our nails, or change the oil in our car, right? This is just another thing that we can ask for help for, and even especially as people who are in this service industry and know how big of an impact it can have on someone's life. If you're sitting around looking at your house and being like, "Wow, I could really use an organizer," I mean, just consider it.
And I think just getting over that, whatever word you wanna use for it, like pride, I think would be one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
"Why can't I do this?" I can do it. I just am busy doing 212 other things, and
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
don't like the feeling of I've said this many times, like, whenever a client I know you say the same thing. Whenever a client goes, "Oh, I bet your house is perfect," and I'm like, "No, my house isn't perfect because human beings live there, and the only way you can keep a house perfect is if you have help. If you have
Right.
full-time hired help, like a celebrity's house is probably perfect. My house will never be perfect. But I do
Yeah.
think there's a little bit of that pride of, oh, I'm supposed to be really good at this, and my house is supposed to be perfect all the time. And
Yeah.
that's just not accurate for any of us.
Yeah, and it's true. Almost every consult, they're like, "I know I could do this on my own." And I said, "Well,
Yeah.
it's always easier to do it for someone else. You could probably go to your friend's house and help
Yeah.
them with their basement." And they're like, "Yeah, I could." I'm like, "This
Yeah.
is the same idea. We are just going to come and help you with yours because we don't know your stuff." So
Yeah.
all the
But
questions are coming out of genuine curiosity. There's no judgment. We don't know what's important, so we're going to ask.
yeah. I've said it 800,000 times, whenever I love it when you give them the simplest solution ever and they say, "Oh my gosh, you're a genius." And I'm like, "Why didn't I think of that?" And I go, "'Cause you look at it every day and it's just different." And that is exactly the same for us. No matter how good we are as organizers, we
Yeah,
don't have perspective about our own stuff and we don't
right.
have perspective about what is actually important. And so having those people ask you that I think it's an awesome idea. Do you think your team felt glad that they were able to do it?
Oh, yeah, they were just thrilled to be invited in, and I feel like they take some pride over the house. Like,
Oh, sure.
they're like, "We did that," you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it is fun to have them be a part of making the house a home and making it cute and setting everything up. They did a lot of the initial legwork because I was flying around doing consults, you know? I mean, we all have our different responsibilities, and yeah, this is what they do best, and so I just let them.
What do you feel like you are taking from it as you think about them working with clients? Or are there things that you have talked about your experience and, like, how you can make your clients' experiences better?
Yeah. I mean, some of it they're already doing naturally. So on the paperwork day, I just did one-on-one with a team member, and she came in, and I was like your typical harried client running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Mm.
And I said, "Okay, the first thing we need to do is make a list because there's some things that I need to do like personally or for business, and I need to break it all out because right now it's just all in my brain." And she goes, "Okay, have you eaten breakfast yet?" And I
Oh,
said, "No." And she goes, "Why don't I go get paper to make a list and you eat breakfast?" And I was like, "Well, I don't want to eat breakfast." And she goes, "I know you don't." And I was like,
yeah.
"Dang it."
And you're like, "Oh, she's right."
Yeah, yeah. This is literally something I taught them to do, especially with our ADHD clients, because 'cause we're not eating breakfast. We are on to the next thing. Let's
Important things to do.
Yeah, a million of them. Let's get them done. So, yeah, there were some things that I was like, "Keep doing. That's really important." There was nothing that they did that I wanted to correct. It was more just, like, affirming of, "You guys are really freaking good at this,
Great jobs, yeah.
and it's so helpful, and you're so gentle about it, and you're so respectful about it." Yeah, I think it was really a treat to see what our clients get to experience from the same people, and just to be like, "Yeah, you are getting this unbiased support, an extra set of hands to help you find your way." Like, it's so valuable.
Do you envision that you'll do this kind of on a regular basis? Do you have
Oh,
moments where you're like, "I'm just gonna do it every 6 months?"
I don't know why I wouldn't, because
Yeah.
I think especially with paperwork, I feel like, man, I tend to hang on to it longer than is necessary, or I tend to think I might revisit this great idea I had. I have a whole file called ideas.
I have it's funny that you're saying this 'cause I just was going through my mail yesterday and, from a previous podcast, I keep my mail for quite a long time
Yeah.
before I go through it, and I was going through and I found, like, I keep things on Post-it notes, I'm obsessed with Post-it notes, so I have
Yeah.
8,000 Post-it notes of things
Right.
that I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. When am I gonna get to it?" I'm keeping these Post-it notes for infinity for what reason? And I think someone should
No.
challenge me on it.
I could see that. And then also the team has started inviting each other over to take turns at each other's house. So
Really?
yeah, yeah. So it's growing. So
That's so fun.
yeah, so one is having someone come over to help with their closet, and then they're gonna go help another person with their basement, and they're just kind of trading back and forth because also see the value, right? And
Yeah.
then get stuck in certain places. And I think and I know it's not true for everyone, but for us, maybe type B types, like that places get stuck and we just go, I don't know. I don't know what to do with that anymore. And so to be able to call on a friend or an organizer or just somebody to help you. Before I hired the team, I would just have a friend come over and do straight body doubling. Can you just sit on the couch while I do this hard thing? And I introduced the concept of body doubling. Should I talk about what that is?
Oh, yeah, please, because a lot of people don't I thought everybody knew what it was, and a
Yeah.
lot of people don't, so
Okay. So body doubling is this idea that's been scientifically proven that when there is another person, another human in your space with you, they don't actually, I mean, in the same room is best, but you can feed off of their energy and it can ground you in a way that you can put your focus on what you want to focus on. And so we talk about this a lot with clients because they're like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know why I can't do this on my own, but when you're here, I can do it." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that's body doubling. Let me tell you about it." Right. And so I was explaining it to a client last week, and she's a business owner, and she goes, "Sometimes I'll have my staff come into my office and say, 'Can you just stand there while I write this email?'" And she's, "I didn't know that there was a name for that."
there's a
And I was
name
like,
for
"There's
it.
a name for
Yeah.
it."
Yeah. And it really does work. Like, when you have someone just even though they're not, like, hovering over you, it's not like they're judging what you're doing, but, like, literally, there's something about it that tweaks my brain into, "I'm supposed to be doing something right now."
Right. I'm legit
So
gonna ask you after this if we can body double to just, like,
yeah,
silently do work because that's
absolutely,
how I get it done.
yeah, 100%. And it really is, and we've talked about this 100 million times at different things, but that's what organizing is for clients. Sometimes the people that are like, "Why can't I do this on my own?" It's literally just because you've set aside 3 hours that you have to work with me, and you're paying me to be there, and that then motivates you. Like, you can't
Mhm.
start after 15 and then after 15 minutes be like, "I think it's time for a snack," and then I'm gonna go do you have to devote the time. And it's
Mhm.
just something about that pressure that feels good. I know we've talked about this too. There are people now that are doing admin nights at, like, coffee
Yes.
shops or
Yeah.
bars
Yeah.
where they all bring the things that they haven't done and they
Yeah.
just get them done. And I'm like, I'm here for that. Like a cocktail and like looking for new insurance, fantastic.
We need to do that. Yeah, we need to do that because
Yeah.
I have a long list of things that I need to do, like, it's silly little things, like calling an
Just little things.
appointment at the vet for the dog,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, and it's for me, the insurance thing was real. I was just appalled by how much money I was paying for insurance, and I'm like, it has to be better than that. There just has to be something better. Well, guess what? There was, but did it also take me several hours to
Yeah.
get it all? It sure did. And
Yeah.
it was really a slog to get there, but I'm like, if I would have had something where we're like, "Hey, we're doing all these things. We're doing all the things we've put off for, like, literally years." And when I
Mhm.
think about it, I go, "Oh, I have paid thousands of dollars to unnamed insurance agency for very expensive car insurance,
Right.
and, like, I have lost thousands of dollars because I didn't wanna devote this time. That's
Um,
silly.
you and I
That's
talked
silly.
about this before.
Yes.
Do you remember, was it a couple summers ago where I was like, "Oh, I just negotiated my cell phone bill and my wireless bill, and and they're down to this." And you were like, "What?"
Yes. Correct. Legitimately, I am certain I have tens of thousands of dollars that has just gone out
Oh.
the window because I'm just like, don't wanna do it."
I
So,
know. Yeah, I have this new bill that came up, and for some reason, the online auto pay has not been working. So every month they message me and are like, "Yeah, you're gonna get a late fee." And every month I call them and say,
yeah.
"Don't give me a late fee." And I'm pretty sure that they didn't take it off. And I'm like, at some point, I don't care, but also it hurts my heart to know. But I'm just like, I can't keep calling you and asking you to do your job, and I don't know why this isn't working, but
Well,
uh,
I think there's a lot now. I was talking about this with a friend of mine, and I do a lot of well, it's COVID's fault, but a lot of things really are COVID's fault. Like, customer
fair.
service has really gone down the drain for many companies, and now, like, a lot of companies are just straight using AI for all their customer service. You're not even getting a human, and
No.
there are so many things now that I think it feels like there are so many places now that are putting the burden on you that you do have to do a lot of the work even though you're helping their company or whatever, and so
Right.
I think that adds to the administrative burden that we have for a lot of the things, and then it just feels like there's too much.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least that's how it feels for me.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. And yeah, you used to be able to just push 0 and get through to a human, and now it's
Yeah,
like invalid number, and I'm like,
correct.
"Ah."
Yeah. Sometimes, by the way, the AI bots do a really good job, and I appreciate them, and every once in a while, I get an answer really quickly, and I appreciate that, but, like, when you need a human, you need a human,
You
and
do.
yeah.
Yeah, and my Gen X is showing here, but I trust a human more. I do.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, for sure.
and I'm like, "Can you navigate me through this thing that I've never done before? And I just
Yeah.
wanna make sure I'm doing it correctly." And yeah, had a lovely lady last week help me through some online stuff. She's, "Now click here, now click there." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're
So
so
what?
wildly helpful." Did it
Yeah,
take 48 minutes?
yeah,
Yes, it did, but now it's done.
yeah.
Yeah.
Adulting is really not that fun. There are a lot of parts of adulting that are really overrated.
Not for the faint of heart, really.
This is a totally we're going you and I like to go down as you call them rabbit trails, but my younger daughter, who is a legal adult, recently there was a doctor bill that insurance didn't apply correctly and there was a problem. And so we informed her that she had to call Blue Cross
Mhm.
Blue Shield.
Yeah.
And she had a heart attack and we're like, "Hey, welcome to adulthood."
Mhm.
And she declared it the worst thing she'd ever done, to which I said, "That means you've had a pretty good life." So, and but also she was like, "That was terrible." And I'm like, "Oh, sweetie, you have
This is just the
so many
beginning.
more of those phone calls to make in your life. Please get used to it." So,
Oh, heaven help her. Yeah. We all hate it.
yeah.
But, this is I'm trying really hard not to say to circle back, but this is coming full circle here. This is what we do for our clients. The number of
Yes.
times I've sat on hold for a client to order them a new credit card, update their billing address, things that to them, like you said, slogging through it, right? But to me, when it's not me, I'm happy to sit on the phone and sort your
Oh,
paperwork while I'm
yeah,
on hold,
yeah.
No
Well, because 'cause
problem.
we're getting paid really well to do it. I don't mind
True.
doing it when I'm getting paid really well to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's just this whole thing of you can do for others things you can't always do for yourself.
yeah,
And this is what's so true about our clients. Like they are crushing it in a jillion different ways in their life. And then their home is a place where they're getting stuck. And this is somewhere that we can come and relieve that pressure for them and bring in some more peace to their life. I know this is Marie Kondo, but it is life changing stuff.
it is. Well, and I also think too that we have so many clients who, we keep coming back to that the embarrassment or the shame that they go, "I kill it at work." I have a lot of clients who are very wildly successful
Yep.
businesswomen
Yeah.
or doctors or
Yeah.
lawyers or whatever,
Or
high
judges.
caliber
Yeah.
professions with
Yeah.
high results and a lot of work required, and then their house is complete chaos, and they feel
Yeah.
like, "Why can I perform in one aspect of my life and I can't perform in the other?" And the
Yeah.
answer is because you're performing so hard in that aspect of your life. Like,
Right.
there's nothing left at the end of a day.
True. Yeah. I mean, your executive functioning skills are all being spent at work, and you're coming home and you're door dashing dinner. You are running the kids around. Yeah. When exactly would you have that time and energy to dedicate to your house?
And
I
same
don't
thing
see it.
with entrepreneurship. I mean,
Mhm.
we hear so many people who are like, "I need to do X, Y, and Z, ABC," that we all know owning a business, you have 100,000 things that are going through your head and that you're thinking about, and it's applying what's important, and it might be that the thing that kinda loses out is the stuff around your house, and
Right.
great
Yeah.
news, there are people that can help you with that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I love it. Is there anything that you would do differently? Would you have started sooner? Would you have kind of cried uncle sooner, or do you feel like it happened exactly the way it was supposed to?
I feel like I'm not a big believer that everything happens for a reason or that, the world's timing is always perfect. And in this particular case, I I feel like that was the right move. And I think it was easier actually to get help moving
Mhm.
than it would be to be like, let's go through all my stuff, which we did end up doing later. But that was an easier entry point because it was just like, can you just pack this up, please?
Yeah. It was finite, like, it was
Yeah.
a finite thing, yeah.
Right. It wasn't like, let's delve into my scraps of paper I've been hanging on to for 15 years for the book that I started writing and didn't finish.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe
Well,
I'll get to that in the future.
yeah, absolutely. I love it. I think that's why I wanted to talk to you about it because I thought it was really just every time you talked about it, you just talked about it so effusively that I'm like, "We need to talk about it." What I hope people will take from this is if you are, like, sitting and waiting for permission or if you are
Mhm.
our clients need permission sometimes, right? So do we. And
Yeah.
so if you're sitting there going, "I'm swamped, I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired, I don't wanna organize when I come home because 'cause I've already organized all day," or "I've thought about organizing all day," or "I've talked about organizing all day," whatever
Yeah.
it looks like, give yourself that permission. Let go of whatever it is you're holding on. Just
Yeah.
let it go. Just get someone to
Yeah.
help you.
'Cause it's so amazing how someone can come in and see it with a different set of eyes and ask questions. Like, I had an organizer come over once, a friend of mine who organizes out of state, And she was like, "I wanna organize your office when I come over." And I was like, "Girl, you can. Enjoy."
Yeah.
And so we were going through some stuff, and I was like, "Ugh, this is stuff I barely ever use. I don't really know where to put it." And she goes, "Well, what's in that cabinet?" And I said, "I don't even know." And she opened it up and she goes, "Missy, it's empty." And I said, "Oh, is it?"
Who knew?
And she
Who
goes, "Can
knew?
I put those things in here?" And I said, "Yeah, that'd be a great place for it." And I did have a moment of feeling pretty stupid that I had a whole empty 2 shelf spaces that I didn't know about, but it's also just a great indicator for some of our more visual clients if you can't see it, it doesn't exist, right?
Correct.
But then I put something in there that I use so rarely that I knew it was in there, but it gave me space where I needed it. So all this to say, yeah, just another set of eyes can be so wildly helpful and another set of hands and just like freeing you up to do what you need to do so that this other thing can get done. I can't recommend it enough.
I love it. The other thing that I wanna thank you for is recently, you gave me the name of a very lovely, I don't like this phrase, but it is what they do, junk hauler.
Yeah.
This guy in particular does way better, like, he takes things, repurposes them, he has a nonprofit that he donates things
Mhm.
to people in need, like, he's great, but point of the story is, I cried uncle, which I'm not good at, and I admit that I'm not good at it, I'm not good at asking for help, and I was like, "Oh my gosh," just this client project in my garage, I was like, "I just need someone to take care of it." And you gave me this guy's name, and it was so freeing to just be like, all I'm doing is I'm just gathering it into one part of my garage, and he showed up, and I was like, "Here it is. Knock on the door when you're done." And he was lovely, and it was, like, such a good feeling because, by the way, same thing. Could I have taken it all to a donation place myself? Yes. Do I have a good trash place for things that were legitimately trash? Yep, sure do. I could have done it all myself. I just didn't want to. I was too
Right.
tired.
Right, and it's one phone call for all of it to go away,
One phone
and you don't
call.
have to lift any of it.
No,
Yeah.
it was tremendously reasonable,
Mhm.
and I just was like, "Oh my gosh, this is fantastic." And yeah, I could have made all the runs myself,
Mhm.
but I didn't have to, and that was lovely too. So just
Yeah.
surrender, ask for some help. I'm a work in progress, but
Yeah.
I am working on it.
Mhm.
Well, tell us a little bit about what's coming up for you. Another crazy year. I know you're like jam packed. You've got tons of clients.
What's coming up for me is I have my TV debut coming up, and I'm
So
very
excited.
excited about that. It is actually never have I ever, except for last year, February 2025, I put on my, vision board, but it was just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, the specific show, and I got connected to them through another miracle, and yeah, it's happening next week, and so I'm really excited about that. I'm just excited for the opportunity to just share more about how normal it is to need help. That's my entire message. Yeah.
Well, and something you and I talk about a lot just personally is, we talk about some of the dynamics we see when we have clients that come in and, just maybe women who are really dying for help and their spouses are less than helpful about
Yeah.
wanting them to get help. There are a
Yeah.
lot of those dynamics. And I just think the more that we can normalize organizing is just another service like anything else. We have
Right.
very much normalized house cleaning
Yeah.
as a service, like, people are not weird about that anymore, it's a very regular
Right.
part of a lot of people's lives, like, I think
Yeah.
the more that we can all do media appearances and talk more about organizing, I think it's a great thing for all of us, but
Yeah.
I'm
Thank
excited to watch you live this week.
thank you. I'm excited for it. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Well, we will see you on the internet. You're at creatingclearspaces.com. You are on Instagram at Clear Spaces Organizing. I forget.
Yeah. I'm impressed. Way to go.
And you are around our inspired organizer groups all the time, which I love. You give great advice, and I'm excited to keep you. I'm excited to see what you have going on for the rest of the year.
Thank you. Me too. It'll be an adventure. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, for sure. Well, thank you, Missy.
Thanks for having me.